Welcome to another episode of Yo, Who Hired You? My name is James, and this is...
What's up? I'm Hag.
And today, we're going to dive into leaders versus managers. What are the differences? What does it mean for the employees that work with them? And how do you know you're one or the other? Lock in, stay with us. We're going to unpack it all.
James, let's talk about some of the key differences here between managers and leaders.
Okay.
So let's discuss some forms of toxic leadership.
Ooh, my favorite.
Someone who abuses their power, their authority.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Are you talking about me?
No.
Good.
Maybe back in the day.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Toxic leader. Yeah, I mean, we all know who that is. This is the guy who's abusing his power, who's coming in, letting the little title go to his head, or the little on his name badge that says manager. He's power tripping. He's just he's not a good person to work for.
Yeah, that's a person that just barks orders, just tells you what to do. They don't care about you or being, empathetic or anything like that, right?
At all.
Nope. They're like,
but again,
I'm the boss. You listen to me. You do what I say.
So are they a leader or are they a manager then?
No, they're just more of a manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So look, before we even get here, I don't think we talked about that. So what is the difference between a leader and a manager? Because as we go through this and we're talking about toxic and not toxic and all this,
yep.
What is the difference between being a manager and being a leader?
Okay. I think a manager more or less is someone that has a list of things that need to get done and they just get those things done. Where leader will more or less, you'll get those things done, but they'll explain to you why. They'll coach you through it, tell you how to do it and what the strategy or the vision is to what you're doing, as opposed to just go do this and do it now.
What's the value though in somebody explaining why something needs to get done? If you're at a job, you're there to get things done. So why does somebody need to explain to you why they need to be done?
Well, because they'll help you get it done faster if you understand the greater good or the greater goal. I would think, and also more or less that you're trying to develop the next person in line. You're trying to coach people up and make them better, essentially.
So by explaining to your direct reports the why behind a task needing to get done, you feel it empowers them, helps them just...
Well, it empowers them. It also gets the operation probably more efficient.
How so, though? Elaborate.
So if they know exactly why they're doing it, they'll and they're inspired to do it, they'll try, different types of ways maybe to get it done faster. They'll try to innovate more. As opposed to I just got to get this done in the next 5 minutes. I don't care if it takes me 5 minutes or if it takes me 3.
So this is a very interesting conversation, right? So let's dive a little bit into that. So let's take an example. Let's look at a task, a regular task. I need to mop the floor.
Okay.
I work at fast food. I got to make sure that by a certain time, the floor has been mopped and is clean of any food debris or soda or whatever the crap is, right? I need to do that.
Okay.
My manager tells me, James, at 3:30, go sweep and mop the floor where the customers are coming in and out.
Okay.
Right? If I'm in a toxic management situation that I can only just take those orders and do them, what could happen?
I mean, a lot could happen. So, for example, we'll just say it's the busiest time of the day and you just started mopping at 3:30 because that's what they said had to be done by. Do it right before then, and then someone comes in and slips and falls. And then the manager will be like, why did you do that? And you're going to be like, well, you told me it had to be done at 3:30. Well, I would have known, or if I cared, or if someone was trying to develop and coach me up and I was inspired by maybe a leader, I would be like, hey, it's the busiest time of the day. Maybe it's not a good time to do that because I don't want somebody to slip and fall. And knowing that, not sharing that information. Maybe that manager just sits in the back all day and just doesn't pay attention to what's going on.
you made a great point. Maybe the manager's disconnected from the daily operations and doesn't understand the task he's asking you to execute actually introduces risk into the daily operation, right? So that's a fantastic point. And even the point of the employee providing feedback back to the manager saying, hey, this is why I don't think we should do this at this time, because look what could be the outcome. Somebody could slip, fall, and now there's going to be litigation that's going to be responsible under your watch, manager. Right? So if you had a leader would hear you out and say, you know what?
It's a good idea.
That's a good point. So, hey, let me ask you a question. What time after lunch does the business slow down enough where we can sweep and mop and there won't be enough, we won't have
be any risk. Yeah.
Or can we do it in segments? Can you do this part at 3 and then do this part at 2 or whatever? Just because we need to get it done. We can't not mop the floor till the end of the day because there'll be crap everywhere.
Could be. Or the leader could say, hey, why don't you do some research and see if there's any types of formulas or something where people won't slip. Is there, a better product that we could potentially be using? Why don't you look that up and see what you come back with? And now you're invested into that operation as opposed to just go mop.
Yeah.
3:30.
3:30. Okay.
Just get out.
Sure thing, boss.
Yeah, sure thing.
And then bang,
Yeah.
lawsuit, McDonald's,
Yeah.
whatever fast food chain, broken neck right at the front door because some bozo mopped the floor during the middle of the busiest lunch rush of the day, right?
Or if you have an elder family member and now they slipped and they fall and now they go to the hospital and now they broke a hip.
So again, I think that was a really great kind of analogy that I think everybody could kind of relate to in this scenario of how a manager will ask you to do something and how a leader will ask you to do something and how they'll both kind of react in those situations. Because again, as a manager, when the employee goes back to you and says, are you sure you want me to mop at 3:30? The manager might be like, yes, mop. I told you mop, go mop.
Yeah,
all right?
Stop asking questions.
Stop asking questions, mop, because you got to go get back on the fries later. So, okay.
Yep.
And then the leader was like, you know what? Wait a minute. What time do you suggest? Is there another option? Is there another alternative? What time does it get slow? Can we do it in sections? He's gonna be thinking of now. You sparked inspiration in your leader. He's thinking now. You're thinking because you're like, oh, he asked my opinion. I'm not just a robot here. I have value, even if it's just mopping the floor.
Yeah, you're vested into the operation. That's a big deal.
And knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
All right. So what else, man? Let's keep going down here, right? So toxic leadership, I think we've established is somebody who's just very self-centered, egotistical, maybe a little irrational, isn't fully vested in the development of the people around them, and it's just do it now, do it the way I said.
All right.
Great.
I'd say the next one, and this probably resonates with you as well, is the focus and the credit, where the manager is going to be like, I did that. Where the leader is going to want to kind of share and give credit amongst the group.
Yes, it's not I did it as a leader. It's we did it.
We did it.
As a team. And that's a very important piece because it would suck for all of you to be working on a project together and then it gets executed at a high level and, one of the stakeholders comes around and is like, this is great. You guys did an amazing job. And your manager comes in and says, yeah, I was knee deep in the trenches. I made sure everything got done. I made sure the team did this. Bad sign already that you got a bozo.
You could also tell through emails and how people position things in the words that they choose. So if they're using I, me, my, as opposed to we, or the team, it's much different. You're going to know just by reading what type of manager / leader, if they are one.
Yeah, you're probably right now watching this and crap, I use I a lot in my emails, or I say I a lot when I'm talking about a deliverable. And this should be your wake-up call to stop doing that.
Yeah, I feel like if it's something that you're directly responsible for, yeah, I'll send that to you. If you had to mail something out, maybe yeah, I'll send that to you. I got it.
But any kind of execution of a task or a deliverable or anything that includes your wider team, you should always use plural. You should always be like,
absolutely,
we worked really hard on this. We got there together. We're going to solve this problem. I think the only time you should use I is when something goes wrong.
Yeah.
That's the
fair.
only time you should use I. As a
I'll
manager,
take responsibility.
as a leader, something went wrong, even if it wasn't you as a leader that messed something up. If it's on your team and it's under your watch, it's your responsibility. So something went wrong, right? Like mopping the floor. Hey, I told so-and-so mop the floor at 3:30. I take accountability for that. That's my mistake. I'll be better. I should have listened to the employee when he told me that wasn't a good time to mop. Period, point, end of sentence.
I would agree. That's a great point.
Okay, so what else?
Another one is, we'll say, like vision versus self-interest, right? So the vision meaning that it's more or less of like the roadmap, like the greater good, where you could be trying to do that as a person, and it's because you want that, because it's
For you.
You're vested into your own like selfish reasons, essentially. Like you're only worried about your career. You're not worried about the rest of the team if they grow. I just need to get this in order to get to the next spot.
Bozo.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't be that guy. Don't be that bozo. And if that's you, you're a bozo.
Yeah. I think go ahead.
No, what I was going to say is just that that's a win-win situation. Because even if you're a manager and you're self-serving, right? You're like, I want to do this because I will get a promotion, I'll get more money, I'll whatever. You could still feel that way internally if you're a creepy bozo, but on the outside, you should think like, even if I'm getting to that, I might be able to pull a couple of people along with me.
Sure.
And that makes us all look good, and it makes me even look better. If you're a self-server, right? You're like, oh, I'm only going to help Hagedorn because it's going to make me look better.
Right.
And even if that's your intent, if Hagedorn still gets a benefit out of it and still gets the visibility to the higher ups and learns a skill, then it's still a win-win.
Sure.
So you should never just think about your own success. You should think about what success means for yourself and those around you, because it's just going to overlap for everybody.
Absolutely.
So yeah, don't be a bozo, man. Being selfish is never a good thing.
So James, let's talk about how a manager is essentially a job title, where a leader, you can't just like sign up to be like, hey, I want to be a leader. Doesn't really work that way. You don't get paid to be a leader. You get paid to be a manager. So kind of what's the difference essentially between the two of those?
I think that a leader is who you are. It's a characteristic. It's a trait that you have. Versus a manager is just a job title.
Right.
You can apply, like you said, to be a manager. You're either a born leader or you're not, or you learn to be a leader.
Learned over.
Right,
Yeah, it's an acquired skill over time that can be coached and developed.
Yeah, I agree.
I do agree with you that I feel like you're born with it or you're not. Like it's a natural thing for you to do. Like some people can naturally athletic and they're great, or some other people are super smart and they know how to use technology and program and do all these great things, where someone can just get a team of people together and just make them follow.
Absolutely. I actually had a manager a few years back. I had this guy who had an opportunity. He wasn't a manager at first. He had an opportunity to move into the position for growth. And it was just one of those things where he just saw an opportunity to make more money. So he was like, you know what? There's not a lot of other growth opportunities right now for me.
Okay.
So let me just step into this role.
Sure.
And take the opportunity. And he was a terrible manager, right? And it was one of those situations where you're trying to coach them, mentor them, and lead them.
And they just don't get it.
And they just don't get it. And it actually got to the point where what I did appreciate about this person was they got to a point where they were like, you know what? I recognize this is just not for me.
Can't do it.
Like, I'm not a manager. I'm really just doing this because I wanted more money. I have no desire to lead people. I have no desire to lead a team or get things done. Like, I just want to work. Like, can I go back to my old job? And I respect that. Like, I'd rather somebody come and tell me I'm in the wrong position. Pause for this, right? Like, I'm in the wrong role, right? Like, pause again. So yeah. So I 100% can see how sometimes people can just jump into a manager position without having those qualities, just maybe for money or just to test it out. Whereas a leader is somebody who, it doesn't matter what your job title is. You can be a leader and be the fry cook. You can be a leader at the car wash. You can be a leader at any position, anywhere. It's not something that goes on your name tag or on a business card. You're just a leader because, hey, we got to get this done. I'm going to rally the troops. I know how to talk to people. I know how to engage with people to motivate them to get us all moving on the same page.
Right. I had a similar experience years ago in a different capacity, different role, where I tried to explain to someone like, hey, I understand that you're taking this position. These are the expectations of it and why I think that you could do this role. I don't know if this is necessarily the best fit. And it became a money situation where they're just like looking at it, financially. And then, a few months later, they're like, hey, can I go back to what I was doing before? This isn't for me. And I was like, I try to tell you. I try to tell you. And then it's like, it's not for everyone, So I would ask you, that person that, you put in that position, did you explain all these things to them in advance? And like, yeah, I got it. Don't worry about it.
Well, I inherited that person, right? So that person.
Okay, so you're not taking any ownership.
No, but I did try to coach him up.
I kid it.
Because I did immediately kind of recognize that this person was not maybe the best leader.
Right.
But you also sometimes have to give grace to new managers because a new manager doesn't know what they don't know.
Sure.
Right.
Fair.
And again, the manager, there's a trap at being a manager, right? Because if we look at retail, it's very broad job, right? A lot of people are in retail.
Like clothes?
Clothes, yeah. Let's say you work at a clothing store or some kind of whatever.
Good one.
Target, Walmart, whatever. Pick any store you want. I know you don't shop there.
I love shopping there. It's great.
You know what I mean, right?
Sure.
So you work in a chain or something, right?
Okay.
And you're maybe at the entry level position. There's probably not a ton of career growth for you in those types of situations. You're going to be the floor associate, a cashier, a stock person, an assistant manager, regional manager. Then you start getting into directors, regional directors, or whatever.
Right.
So somebody who's early in their career might look at a manager position as a quick way to just make more money, right? And then there's those that get into it just for the money and realize, like, hey, there might be a career path for me here. Like, I actually enjoy this. I get this.
Okay.
I might not be the greatest at it yet because I'm new. So that's kind of the grace I was giving this person. I'm like, okay, he's a new manager, so he doesn't know what he doesn't know, right? Maybe he's just new and he doesn't know that, like, you have to do X, Y, and Z, and the way you talk to the team matters, and the way you carry yourself matters, and the way you engage and write emails. All these things matter.
Right.
But that was not the case with this person. This person was literally just like, yeah, I just wanted more money. I thought it was going to be easy. Never mind. I'll go back to my old job. And then eventually he quit and he just left. He was like, you know what? Like, I
would have been like, no, you can't go back. No, you just can't leave.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it would actually helped me
right?
It was going to help me that he was going to move back. It helped us even more that he left the organization.
Sure. I get it.
But I'm just trying to illustrate to people that, like, don't fall into the trap of just trying to get more money to be a man, like by being a manager, because that seems like the closest jump up, right? Like, if you're not ready to manage people and deal with people, don't waste your time, man. Because look, the first thing that you're going to realize as a manager or somebody that is in charge of people is you're kind of like an adult babysitter.
Well, the day never ends. That's for one, but I don't disagree with you're saying there either.
Yeah, because
sometimes
you got fully grown adults who you gotta help them maneuver through sometimes very basic life things, and you're like, man,
like, why are you calling me about this?
How did you get this far in life? Like, holy crap!
I don't need to know every little detail. Everybody doesn't need to know everything. Like, I promise you that.
It's insane. So before you take the leap and for the extra $10 an hour or whatever it is, think about the responsibilities you're going to take on. Think about how it's going to impact your mental health. Think about the business that you're in.
Well, that's the other thing too, is that you're talking about people that don't end up like being managers, right? They think very short term, where a leader is a little bit more strategic and they're thinking long term, right? So like if you're really thinking short term, you may not want to be necessarily a manager.
Yeah, great point. And like if you're a leader that's applying to be a manager, you're probably thinking like Hag said, all right, I'm going to get in, I'm going to be a manager. I already got a plan of some of the things I want to institute to make things better
I know
around
how
here.
to change the world.
I'm going to fix this whole thing. I'm going to put this whole thing on my back
Yep.
and we're going to make it Shangri-La. It's going to be the most amazing Target or McDonald's or whatever, or office, whatever. I know what needs to be fixed and I know how to get there.
You know what it's going to be, James? It's going to be turnkey.
That's another illusion, guys. Don't fall for that. Even if you're a leader and
Turkey.
and you've got good intentions, it's never going to be that easy. Like, I got promoted, we're going to solve all the problems tomorrow.
Yep.
You're going to be in for a rude awakening. Like, there's so many things that go into solving problems and getting things done, because you might have the idea that really will solve all the problems, but you got to get buy-in from your stakeholders.
You execute it.
You got to execute it. You got to understand the ramifications of your solution. What does it mean?
What's the risk?
So
What's the reward? Right? All right, James. So let's talk a little bit about the mindset of a manager and a leader. Okay? So I think a leader, more or less, they're more strategic, where the manager is a little bit more like day-to-day, in the weeds type of situation, if that makes sense. Right? The leader's big picture, right? What's the roadmap look like? How are we getting there? Not necessarily like, let me just make sure the bus keeps moving, right?
yeah, I think mindset is the key determinator of, are you one or the other?
Okay.
Because if we're talking about the future and we're talking about work right now, your manager could totally be a robot or an AI in like 10 years, right? It could just be something that's like, this needs to get done at this time, like this, here are the instructions. So that could 1000% just be like a bot.
It could be.
Or AI or something. Whereas a leader, you can't necessarily do that yet with AI, right?
No.
A leader's a mindset. It's like, no, solving problems, figuring out solutions, seeing opportunities, filling gaps, and just pulling all the troops together to get it executed.
Everybody hold hands.
Everybody hold hands. So,
Right.
and as we navigate this topic, we inserted AI there for a second. It's going to be the people that can leverage all these things together that will still have jobs, I think, in the future, right? A leader.
Absolutely.
A leader. I think a manager, I think you still got a little bit of time left before like there's Chat GPT managers and Gemini managers and all that. But I don't think it's never going to happen.
Okay.
I think there's going to be a point where, one, there's going to be so few actual real people in the workforce, right, to manage.
You're gonna start scaring people.
No, I'm not trying to scare people, but let's have a talk about this, right? Like, let's spice it up a little bit, right? Like, and how it relates, because I think a leader mentality is what will keep you employed in the job market.
Well, the leader's going to figure out how to use the AI in order to get stuff done more efficiently, as opposed to the manager is probably going to push back on that AI because it's, potentially afraid of it taking their job.
Yeah, and again, if you look at the structure of how a normal thing works, like, well, let's talk fast food. And guys, we're going to do a whole episode on AI, so just consider this maybe a little teaser about it, right?
That's right.
But if you're thinking about fast food, in the past, you have a manager who oversees cashiers, cooks, people that clean, all that kind of stuff. As we're moving more into the future and technology is evolving rapidly every day, you're going to have less people on the cashier. It's all kiosks already.
Yep.
Right? You're going to have less people in the kitchen cooking.
Yeah, because now it's like an assembly line.
Right? It's going to be all robot arms putting burgers and patties, cooking it to the perfect temperature. There's going to be a computer controlling all of it, right? So you're going to have less and less people in the workforce, And really what it's going to be is like, not necessarily a manager, but it's going to be like an AI that's just giving instructions to everything on how to execute.
You're going to have to lead and guide that AI on what you want it to do.
Exactly. The person that's going to have a job in that environment is going to be the person that is like, all right, AI, give me the trends for every Monday at this time. What are we ordering? What are people not ordering? What did we order a bunch of inventory on that's still sitting there that's not moving?
It's going to know all the prompts.
Exactly. You're going to have to know how to engage with these things. And that's only going to come from somebody who's a leader, somebody who is inspired, motivated, looking around, paying attention, and is engaged. Usually, though, all those adjectives I just used do not go with a manager.
No.
A manager's just do it this time, this way, that time, blah, blah.
Get it done.
Get it done.
Right.
And
so
not gonna last.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about some of the skills of a leader. Right. One is we talked about before, the vision. Another example is the emotional intelligence that goes in with the leader. That's a big one.
Big one.
Yeah, because like if you're super emotional on making decisions, or you're emotional about how people react to you or how they respond, probably more than likely want to stay away from leadership type of roles, right? And then also they're big risk takers. Like, oh, let's try that. Let's try to implement something new. A better way to do something? Show me.
Let's try.
Let's try it out. If it works, that's a new process.
And
right?
you helped me come up with it.
Yeah.
I empowered you to come up with it, and now we are all doing amazing.
Right. Where the manager's more or less of like, well, can't have that many people doing this. Don't involve this other person. We don't have enough time. I don't want this to be involved. Listen, just do it the way that it's been doing because it's been working. Don't mess with it.
Yeah.
Right. And then going back to the emotional intelligence, I think that's probably the biggest one for me, because you don't want someone that's always constantly firing from the hip, because that's how bad decisions, or you get yourself in a terrible situation, because it's just like you don't have all the facts. And we talk about this all the time, right? Facts are greater than opinions. I think you say something kind of similar. Yes?
Yep. Facts over feelings.
There you go.
Yeah. But look, emotional intelligence, I think let's take a second and let's unpack what that is for people, because I don't think everybody understands or just might be familiar with that term.
Okay.
So what is emotional intelligence, Hag?
So that's basically understanding the situation and not reacting emotionally to something happening, right? You're calm and you're measured. I say this all the time, like you can't think clear if you're not calm. And if you're not calm, you're not making good decisions.
Facts. And as a manager or a leader, either one, it's a key trait. You have to be able to understand that nobody cares about your feelings. Like, I'm gonna just say it. Like, no, it's true. Nobody cares about your feelings. Like your manager or your stakeholder, they might pretend that they care about your feelings. They might be nice to you. They might be friendly, but do they really care about your feelings?
Probably not.
Probably not. You know
they
what
want results.
You know what they care about? The bottom line. Did things get done? How much money are we making? How productive is the team? Do we have the right things in place, the right systems, the right people? That's what they care about. So if you're going to like your stakeholder or your manager saying, I feel like this, I'm angry.
That's not fair.
This isn't fair. In the back of their head, you know what they're saying? Shut the up and tell me how this impacts my business. I don't care that you're sad. I don't care that you're angry. What does this mean for our operation? And again, I'm just being a jerk for the sake of content. I wouldn't talk to any of my direct reports like this. But you got to be real. Like, this is probably what goes on in a lot of people's head. Like, oh, you're sad again? You're mad again?
I can't bring this to them because I know how they're going to react.
You know?
And that's how you get left out of things, because nobody wants to deal with someone that's over emotional, and they can't handle that.
So whatever is triggering your emotional response inside of you, keep it inside of you, and then figure out a way to articulate it to your stakeholder or your leader or your manager in a way that aligns it with the business, right? So instead of saying, hey, I'm mad because this person got a promotion, who cares? I don't care that you're mad about that. You got to approach it and say, okay, I recognize there's only certain opportunities for me to grow inside this organization. And I really think that we should have conversations about how we can change that, how we can expand that, because not just me, but there's other people in this organization that are going to be looking for growth, and to keep morale high and to give people something to aspire towards and keep them engaged and employed with us so they're not hopping around. We should start thinking about career development paths for different people.
Now you're starting to talk about the impact of the team. That's another key characteristic of a good leader.
So again, I'm not like a manager. I'm coming to my manager, but I didn't come to my manager and say, hey, I'm mad I didn't get promoted.
Nope. You have to go in a sense and say, hey, I understand that, this position is now filled. What are the opportunities maybe next time something like this opens? How can I, get involved in order to make myself available to take the next step?
How can I get on your radar? What are some of the things that I can do so that I can be at the top of the list next time? How can we work together?
What are you looking for?
Exactly.
Right.
How can I be of service?
There you go. We were talking about that before. That's a good point.
Right. So again, you gotta remember, emotions in the workplace don't belong there. Just throw it out the window. You can get mad. You can go outside, smoke a cigarette. You can. Whatever you do, you can bang your keyboard.
I miss those days.
It's not going to get you anywhere.
Yeah.
You got to learn how to diffuse the situation, understand what's triggering your emotional response. And then if you need to articulate that to a manager, how can I frame what I'm experiencing in a way that it's not about me, it's about what happened and how it impacts the business.
And good leaders don't respond emotionally. They just don't. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So, James, let's talk a little bit about the overlap and misconceptions of leadership and management. Right? So, some of that would be, for example, let's say leadership without management. What do you think that equals?
Leadership without management. Again, I always defer to a manager isn't always a leader.
Okay.
So, I mean, we're
gonna go back and forth. So leadership without management, and then management without leadership.
Okay, so
what are the two end results there?
I think you can have leadership without management, because you can have a manager who's a bozo. I've been in that position where I had a manager who was a complete space cadet, had no idea what they were doing, was just literally there filling a chair, and was like, here's James, take all my work and do my work for me.
Right.
And everybody in the office knew who really ran shit, which was me. And this guy was just kind of sitting on the Iron Throne, but I'm really the one doing stuff behind the scenes.
Okay.
So I don't necessarily subscribe to just because the manager isn't a leader that things are going to fall into disarray. I think as long as somebody in the office is a leader, or the job is a leader, that leader will naturally just fill the void and things will go okay.
Okay.
What's your take on it?
I mean, I feel like it's a little different in the sense where it's kind of like controlled chaos, where you have people that are good leaders, but maybe they don't necessarily have the best managers or maybe some of the best direct reports, and they're unable to get things done efficiently, proactively, and things of that nature. It still gets done, but it's kind of organized chaos. There's no real method or process to everything. The only reason that they're surviving is because they have good leaders, if that makes sense.
I think we agree to disagree there.
Okay.
Well, and what's the other one? Management without leadership?
Management without leadership, it's kind of it's nothing changes. So everything kind of stays the same.
Without leadership. Okay, so we have a manager, but he's not a good leader.
Not a good leader. They just get things done. It's always status quo.
Agreed.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the different, the differences between the two. If you kind of flip them around, one with and one without.
Yeah, and I'll keep arguing that you can have leadership without management.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
You can, but like the best kind of often do both.
yeah.
Right.
Agreed. But I've been in so many different scenarios where I've just seen somebody who rose to the occasion and became a leader, even though they didn't have any kind of management designation, or maybe the manager got fired or left and there was a void and somebody just filled the.
Listen, where there's chaos and there's unknowing things, it creates opportunity.
There you
And
go.
you can go and just go after it and make it happen.
That's being a go-getter, being proactive. Yeah.
Yeah. This way you force the people in charge of the leadership to make a decision, that you're already there, you're doing the job and you're doing it well. They're like, let's just stick with what's working. They're doing well.
It ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
That's right.
And the last thing people want to do in leadership is screw something up if it's working.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you're in that type of scenario where maybe your manager left or got fired and you're like on the fence of whether or not you should like be stepping up or doing extra work to like, raise your profile maybe with the higher ups. If you care, you should do it. You should do the extra steps because that's literally an opportunity on a silver platter for you. And if you're doing it and it's working, they're going to say, the job's yours.
Good to go.
Why am I going to bring a new hire in here and go through an interview process and onboarding and recruitment and spend all that money when I got you sitting right here? You got it. Go for it. Win. Go win.
The justification, the validation would be like, look, we didn't know what we necessarily had in this person until we presented them with this opportunity, and look how well they've been doing. We need to keep this person in place.
Fantastic point.
All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in this week. We got a little call to action, a little self-reflection. You know how we like to self-reflect here. Ask yourself, am I leading? Am I managing? And am I doing both? And if you are, how is it serving your team?
Facts. And if you're using I instead of we in your emails and in your conversations when talking about your team, you're part of the problem, bozo. Get it together. Absorb all the information we presented to you in this episode and use some of the self-reflection we just talked about and switch your style up because you're garbage.
That's right. We like to subscribe. We like to watch the channel.
Peace out, y'all.
We like.